Awesome. I'm excited. And normally when I have someone on the podcast, I would send them like a list of questions of stuff I plan to ask them. But my key thing for this one is I wanted to go in knowing kind of as little as possible. So I'll prompt you about some stuff I want to know, and then I'll be like, oh my God, tell me more. So that'll be our idea.
Sounds
Awesome.
good.
The first thing I'm going to ask you to do, can you just introduce yourself, what your name is, where you're from, and who you are in general?
Yes. So my name is Ashley Sdao. I'm from North Hollywood, California. I'm 37 years old and I am a high school teacher.
That is so cool. So perfect for a convo about Degrassi.
Yes.
Well, before we talk about all your cool stories of getting to tour the set and stuff, I want to know, how did you get into Degrassi? What is it that made you love the show?
So my best friend in high school had the N, which I did not have that channel, and she was like, "You got to watch the show." And I was like, "Okay." And I almost never say okay, but I did, and we started. I think the first episode I saw was the episode where JT is really good at sewing, and like everyone's roasting him. And I'm like, I
So
love
funny.
JT. This is my jam. I'm in. So I think that was between season 3 and season 4, like in the real world timeline. So the first like season that I got to watch like live and happening was season 4. And I just loved it because I would say I'm kind of a late bloomer. So I like didn't like all that like Dawson's Creek and like One Tree Hill and all that sexy stuff that everyone was into. And I'm like, no, like I'm coming off of like Pepper Ann and the Weekenders here and like Ed, Ed and Eddie Powerpuff Girls. That's too much of a jump for me. So I just feel like that it was like real. It wasn't like all this crazy stuff that you get now with teen shows where just like everyone's like super beautiful, and sexy and romantic and they're living their like best lives at like 14 years old. So I liked how real it was and how relatable it was.
I love it. That's the reason I love Degrassi too. It made me feel like I was actually watching my life play out on screen
Yeah.
instead of something that's like, oh my God, what if you get pregnant and get into a car accident and then you get recruited for the military all in one weekend? Like it was actually real life through real characters. That's super, super
Exactly.
cool. I'm also just curious now that you're a high school teacher, does that impact your viewpoint of Degrassi at all?
Yes, so I'm like, why are they giving keys to the school to the student body president? That's not okay. So like seeing things from the teacher perspective and also like watching the adult storylines, I'm like, okay, yes, like watching um Mr. Simpson like get put on leave for like allegedly touching Darcy's leg. And I'm
Mhm.
like, ooh, like you don't recover from that. Like even if you come back, like the kids will, and I've been at schools where something like that has happened and like the rumors fly and it's
Mhm.
yeah, so I definitely there's those things. And then also like I then see some of the characters in my students and I'm like, you know what? On Degrassi, this is how we solved it. So but yeah, their challenges are a little bit different now than like I'm more familiar. Like I've seen all the episodes a million times, but like my peak Degrassi watching was like the first 6 or 7 seasons. Yes, this.
Mm.
So I have the like encyclopedic knowledge of that. So that's a little bit like kind of outdated for what the kids are going through these days sometimes with like technology and stuff. But
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely do see like, okay, well, this happened on TV and they solved it fairly realistically. So let's see if we can fix it for you.
I
Like,
love
what would
that.
Miss Sauvé say to this? So yeah.
I love that. It's like a little bit of a roadmap for you. That is so freaking cool. I'm always curious about that because I also know that even just as someone who's now grown up as an adult and I go back and I watch the show, there's some things that I was like so ride or die with the kids. I was like, I can't believe your parents did that to you. They grounded you for that. Can't believe your teacher made you like stay late and have a detention. And now I'm like, oh, I 100% see why those are your consequences. You're
Yep.
14. You can't just like do anything you want to do. So it's
Yes.
interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Recently I was watching the one where Miss Kwan gives Spinner and Jimmy detention and like they're all butthurt about him, making fun of her, and I was like, no, no, like then she comes out and like her car is egged, and I'm like, no,
Oh,
like I definitely like I feel you, Miss Kwan, I'm sorry.
oh,
So
poor Miss Quan. She had so much going on, and to kids, teachers just aren't people. I still remember the day I saw my grade 4 teacher at the grocery store buying toilet paper, and I was like, "You're outside of the school. You have like, what is going on?" So I
right?
totally get that.
Yeah.
Oh, Ashley, one of the reasons you're here today is because you messaged me on Instagram and you were like, "Hey, I have this really cool fan story." Well, you were a lot more humble about that. I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you just sat on this." So
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit more about it. I want to try to go through it beat by beat and we'll see what kind of details we can pull out of you because this is just so freaking cool. So, can you paint a picture for us of how an opportunity came up that you could help pitch an idea for a mini-sode on Degrassi?
Yes. So in I I believe it was 2008. I was very into the end, and like their website used to be super interactive and super awesome. And they'd have contests all the time. And one of the contests was for fans to pitch ideas for what if mini webisodes. And there was like a time period where you can just submit as many ideas as you wanted. And I submit a ton of them. And then maybe like a day or two before submissions close, I'm like dead asleep. And then I just wake up and I'm like, what if they were pirates? And like, because pirates were like super like the thing at the time. Like people loved pirate stuff. And now I don't care about pirates, but I'm like, but this might win. So I rolled out of bed, got on their website and submitted that idea, went back to bed. Didn't really think about it again until when they actually like released. I don't remember how many they picked, maybe like 30-ish that people could vote on. And that was one of them. And I was like, of all my millions of ideas, the one I like the least is the one that they picked. But I'm like, I'm still amped. Like, I want to see this because it's gonna be hilarious, right?
Yeah.
So what they had to do is they would like pair up just two random of the ideas and you would like click one or the other and it would just give you random pairs and they would show the leaderboard and I don't remember what the timeline was, but it was maybe like a week or something where like they would just let people vote and then whatever the top three were would get made and the top one got to actually go to the set. And mine was leading the whole time. And my friend Jess had one in there. That one was What If Peter Made a Movie, which I was all about that because I loved Peter because something's wrong with me. I love a villain. So like, Peter was like my favorite, like the second he came on screen. Also had the good spiky hair, but that's another story. So
Love that.
yeah, so those two were leading, and then some random stranger, I don't know who she was, hers or What If Craig and Ashley Got Married. That one was number three. Consistently, like the whole time that was the order. Like the night before the contest ended, me and just like went to bed and we're like, it's all good, like we got this. And I wake up and it's flipped. Her the random person's is number one, and we're like devastated and heartbroken, like, no, it's still getting made and that's awesome, but like we want to go to the set so bad. And like we couldn't believe it. We were so disappointed, like excited that
Oh.
it's getting made, but it's like we want to go. Like it's a once in a lifetime thing, right? Um,
Mhm.
yeah, so that's how that went down. But my dad was going on a trip to our family reunion. We live in California, so he's going into Buffalo, New York. He's like, "Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Can we go to Toronto while we're there?" Just like, cause like I need some poutine and some pizza, probably. So yeah. So he was like, sure, like it's like an hour and a half drive. Let's go. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna just email Epitome and ask if we can visit the set, even though I know it's like a closed set. But my mom was like, just ask. The worst they can say is no. So I did,
Yeah.
and someone got back to me and they were like asking me a couple questions, like, oh, why do you want to come here? Like, who's your favorite character on this? And then she decided that she's like, okay, you sound like pretty legit and like come on in, like you can come. And I was like, what? Okay. So then the struggle here is my friend Jess was a minor at the time, and like her mom, like they can't afford to like this, like everyone come to my reunion, you know? So we had
Yep.
like this whole shenanigan of like we got to get her birth certificate so she can cross the border and she can go with us and like all this stuff. All that works out and we get to go and it is just like a miracle and amazing. So that's how we ended up there.
That is not I can't believe it. I really believe that if anyone ever has a dream about Degrassi, just ask because they're the nicest people ever. So then it worked out that all three of you got to tour the set, all the top three winners.
Yes. So, I know that the person that won, that legitimately won, she was there before us because they were telling us about it, and they actually were working on editing those mini webisodes when we were there. So we got to watch like the footage of them, like the rough edits of it, which was super cool. So we got to see it before everyone else.
Oh my,
Um,
you got to watch them edit yours?
they edited all three, so we got to see like the edits that they had so far while we were there. So yeah,
Were you
super
dying?
cool. Yes. I mean, the whole thing was like, I'm dying. This isn't happening. Like, pinch me. Are we actually here? Am I gonna wake up and I'm like back at home? Like, it was amazing.
That is so freaking cool. Okay. So let's backtrack to you submitting ideas. Do you remember any of the other ideas that you pitched to Degrassi to make as minisodes?
I have no idea anymore because I submitted so many. I wish I did. Yeah, I don't know. We're
It's okay
talking
if you
about
don't.
that happened like 15 years ago, so now I
Oh,
have no idea.
understandable. Do you remember
Yeah.
at all what it caused your friend Jess to think of that idea for the Peter one? And if you don't know, it's okay.
I don't know, but I just want to guess just because she knew how much I love Peter. And she just I'm sure she submitted like a million things too, who knows? She had like an encyclopedic knowledge of like the actors and every single thing they did. Like she used to love to play 6 Degrees of Separation with Degrassi. Like you give her any actor and she would connect it back. And she always knew what they were up to. So like I feel like there's gotta be some reason. I don't know what it is, but my guess is because I liked Peter so much. Because I don't think she did, but I did. So
Oh my god. How does it feel to know that you came up with an idea for one of the most, like, well-loved and well-watched minisodes for Degrassi?
that is just like expose my brain. So maybe like within the last year, as I follow Shane Kipple on Instagram, I remember him posting like, "This is one of my favorites to do," and I was like, "I did that!" Like, that's I don't know. It's surreal, and like to think that I had any sort of hand in anything that Degrassi's done is just
Yeah.
amazing.
That's incredible. One thing about now is, when Degrassi was airing Next Class, and even still kind of with their social media, is online content is constantly being pumped out online all the time. But was that the case for 2008 or the era that you were watching the show? Was Degrassi kind of a standout show for doing this kind of stuff?
I think so. I think pretty much anything that was airing here on the end was like super like emphasis on the internet stuff and webisodes and extras online, and they used to have the End podcast where, the Seth and the Mary I don't know if you ever listened to any of those because 'cause you're in Canada, so,
I found them
but
on
yeah,
YouTube. Found them on YouTube.
okay, yeah, actually, like, the Seth actually moved here and I, like, became friends with him, which is super cool, but anyway, like, I would listen to those, they do that every Friday night, I think, and they would post blogs, like, very interactive, like, Degrassi was their, like, main, like, bread and butter show on the end, so, like, a lot of stuff like that, but other shows, like, not so much, like, there wasn't a whole lot going on online with them, so definitely Degrassi, like, trailblazed that, I think.
That is so cool. Are there any other minisodes that you love watching that stood out as favorites to you?
Dang, I haven't watched them in so long. I know there have been several. I know the one that comes to mind is when, like, Paige and Liberty switch places, and,
That one is
like
so funny.
yes, that one anytime that you can, like, swapsies people is always hilarious to me. Also, I don't remember, like, anything else about it, but there was one where, like, the ghost of JT is, like, hanging out with Liberty, and I was like, "My heart,
Yes.
why? No, come back. Why did you like, why? Come on, JT, come back."
Ah, they really
Yeah,
knew how to get our heartstrings, which was very, very
they
cool.
really did.
I'm also a little more curious about your set tour to Degrassi. Just do you have any other standout memories from visiting the school?
I do. So they were filming the episode where the Shep calls Claire a little bitch.
Iconic.
So we got to watch that scene being filmed. We listened to that guy call her a little bitch a million times. Sorry if I'm not supposed to be swearing, but
No,
that's
that's fine. Any if it's
okay.
said on Degrassi, you can say it on here.
Okay. So like we heard it so many like different iterations and tones, and we're like, I cannot wait to see what they actually pick. And it was none of the ones that we saw. The ones that we saw were much more aggressive. And I think as a teacher, think about how the chef actually like kind of like down was like, "You're a little bitch." Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've had that thought in my head when kids are like acting absolutely crazy. I'm like, that's how it comes out in my head. It's not yelling, it's like just like verbal diarrhea is out. So I don't say, like, and you think it, you gotta have a filter. But I'm like, okay, that's like super realistic to what I think an adult would end up saying in that situation. So that was interesting. We got to watch that. Let me back up. Hang on. So when we first got there, AJ, who plays Connor, was in the hallway and he was like super shy and like didn't want to like talk to us. I'm like, I don't know who you are, but I know you're going to be important soon. So I like, we are both like, so he like followed us around on set a little bit, and that was super cool. But so then yeah, we had lunch with oh my gosh, Ashlyn, Aisling? How do we pronounce
Aislinn,
it? Yeah,
Aislinn.
yes. We had yeah, so we had lunch across from them and like they were too scared to talk to us and we were too scared to talk to them, but it was like we're in the caf eating with some cast members, so that's cool.
That is so freaking cool. I understand that because I was an extra in season 12, and the characters that were coming on at the time were like Cam Saunders and Luke Baker and Dallas. And I remember that feeling of being like, I know I haven't seen you on the show yet, but I'm like intimidated knowing that you're going to be on the show. Like I'm about to go home and watch you on TV, and that's scary to me. So, and I
Yes.
think they were also nervous because they were like, we're new and we don't know what we're doing either. So
Yep.
I totally relate to that
Yeah,
mutual fear of like excitement, but hesitation of like, do you want to
yeah.
talk to me? Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but also like they're eating and they're on break and they're working, so like don't bother them. But like maybe they want to be bothered a little so they can feel like, oh, we've made it. We're like celebrities now.
Yeah, we're celebrities and we're cool and we're stars. I
Yes.
love that.
Yeah.
Do you have any other Degrassi experiences outside of getting a mini-sode made and visiting the set?
I do. So, I've gone t so this is I have a picture of this, it's like my street cred photo of my classroom. I have a picture of me and Aubrey Graham and Stacey Farber. They did a mall tour in 2005 and they came to one of the malls. Actually, let me back up further than that. 2004, I happened to be at my local mall, which is the Glendale Galleria in Southern California, and Ryan Cooley was there, and I think Adama was there, and like
Oh.
the line was like super long to get to see them because I didn't know what was happening. Like I just happened to be at the mall. I'm like, oh, it's JT. So I have a picture like awkwardly from the side, like just walking by because they wouldn't let you in the line anymore because it had been going on for a long time. So I have that.
Aw.
And then the following year, 2005, it was Aubrey and Stacy, and that I knew about ahead of time. And I was like, Ellie is like my jam. So I'm like, I must meet. I don't even care about Aubrey, whatever. Um, but yeah, so we waited in line for about 5 hours to meet them. I'm sure they were absolutely exhausted by the time they got to us. Mr. Radich was there too, but he was just walking around the line, like saying hi to people. And then rumor has it that Daniel Clark was there, but I didn't see him. He might have been like hanging out in the line like before, or after. So I was like, oh, but Sean. Anyway, so we got
Oh
to
my
meet
god.
we got to meet Drake and Stacy. And I have a picture of that just hanging out in my classroom. And everyone's like, you're friends with Drake? And I'm like, well, I went to school together. Every time that. I'm like, they
That's
know.
classic.
Yes, but actually, like, now I teach at the high school I went to, so, like, they know that's not true, so but at my old school, like, we were basically, like, went to high school together, but
It
yeah, so
counts, it
right,
counts.
right, so, like, my kids also like, "Is that Drake?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're
Oh my god.
like, their friends like, "Yeah, look, it's Miss and Drake." I'm like, "Yep." So, that's my one of my other ones, and then I think the year after that, Cassie Steele and Melissa McIntyre were doing a mall tour for Kiss for a Cause, which is some nonprofit. I forget what they do,
Mm.
but that's where I met Jess and a couple other Degrassi people that I became friends with. So we met them, and we met someone that works for the like Degrassi.tv website. I don't remember his name, but he's like, "Oh, you guys are like super fans." I'm like, "Yes, we are." So like me and Jess always like called each other super fan. So
Oh my god, that's so cool.
I
And
think those are the main Degrassi things that I've done.
were you, active on the Degrassi.tv website?
I had like a little locker page, but I didn't use it that
So
much
cool.
because I was more on like the end stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, but
The
I had an
the
account there, but like I didn't use it a
ugh,
whole lot.
I missed that era. They were done with that by the time I got into it, and I, like, daydream about
Mhm.
going back in time and being on Degrassi.tv and
Yes.
even playing the end stuff because I still missed they did still some do some stuff for the later seasons, but I feel like, the time to be on the internet
Mhm.
with Degrassi was the era that you grew up with the show, which is so, so
Yes,
freaking cool.
I often reminisce back at that and like that was like the best time. Like kids today need that and not so much like weird TikTok dances and whatever they're doing. Like we need the interactive like with your peers and like just being teenagers now.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I'd also love to ask you a little bit, if you can remember, about Jess's experience, because from what I understand based on your Canada's Walk of Fame, Jess is no longer with us, right?
Yes, that's
Right.
correct.
Would you mind telling us a little bit about what you thought that moment of getting to go to the set and seeing her or her idea get made would mean to her?
Oh my goodness. So she was like over the moon. Like, so she's 6 years younger than me. So, like, when we met at the Kiss for a Cause thing, she was only 13 and I was 19. And that's like a really big age gap for that time. But
Mhm.
like, it just worked because, like I told you, like, I'm kind of a late bloomer and she had to grow up a little faster because she had fibromyalgia. So yeah, so she, and out of
Makes sense.
school, managing whatever. So it just worked. So I know that like our dream together was always like we got to get to the set one day. Somehow, somewhere we're going to do this. Like she always was convinced that she would go, and she also always said like I feel like I'm going to be back here one day. Now we didn't get back there, but I mean, for all we know, she could be haunting the set. I don't know,
Mhm.
but I know that like it was the highlight of her life. Like if you knew Jess, you knew like Degrassi and all her stories, and that's like her thing. And it was just like the best time, and it was just a miracle that we got to go. And I'm so glad that we got to go in her too short lifetime, first of all, but like the fact that I mean, like, I don't want to say like I made it happen because we both made it happen, but like the fact that it all came together and it all worked and she got to go, I mean, priceless, absolutely priceless for her.
Oh, that is incredible. I mean, I think you led the charge on that. You're the one who
Oh,
arranged it. So when it was going, when you guys were having, this battle online, was it kind of like a mutual understanding that whoever won, you would also take the other person? Okay, cool.
yes,
So
it was.
whether you were in first or second, you were like, "Who cares, baby? We're getting our minisodes
Yeah,
made."
like, we're going, I don't care, like, if we have to spend $1,000,000 to get the other person there, like, I don't remember, I think it was, like, a trip for 2. So,
Mhm.
like, we would have had to have someone else come with us because she was a minor. I couldn't just take her on myself across the country to another country, actually. So, yeah, like, whatever it was, we were gonna make it happen if one of us won, and that was kind of the deal for any time there was a contest. Because there had been other contests that we didn't win, obviously.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was always like, if one of us goes, we both go. Like, that's just it, no matter what.
Oh, that is so cool. I'm so happy that you, like, reached out to be like, "Hey, we're number 2 and 3. Can we come as
Yeah.
well?" Because that's incredible that in the end, all 3 of you got to get your episodes made and go see the show. That's absolutely insane.
It was absolutely magical, like, I can't even, it doesn't feel real sometimes, like, even, 15 years later thinking about it, like, that happened, and we have the pictures to prove it, and it happened.
And it happened, and even, like, I didn't even know that because we recently I have something called the Degrassi Kid Discord, and we did a watch party of all the minisodes, and one of the ones that I was like, "Oh, well, we have to watch the Pirates one." Like, it wasn't even, like, a question. That and the Liberty and Paige one are my top 2 favorite minisodes that Degrassi
Yay!
ever made, and it's because my friend made them. Like, that's absolutely crazy. That is so, so cool.
I'm so
Awesome.
glad that that has brought people so much joy, because like, I've seen so much, like, people, so many people saying, how much they love the pirate one, and just like, "You're welcome."
You're welcome. That's for me. That's my baby. I don't know if I gave the full context to my listeners, but basically what happened is I recently did an interview with Paula Caddy, who played Jane, and I did some trivia on my stories about Jane's character. And one of the questions was related to the Pirates of the Caribbean because the whole thing starts because Peter made fun of Jane's booty. So that's what the true or false that I put up on my story. And then I believe you actually got it wrong. And then you're like, this
Did
is
get it
embarrassing.
wrong. Yep. I was like,
That
"How am
is
I gonna get that wrong?"
That's
Yeah.
so funny. I think this is also cool because if I like, we know me, I brag about everything. So if I was the person who came up with an idea for a minisode, everybody on the planet would know it. And you and I have been online mutuals forever now, and you just casually like, oh shoot, yeah, I should have got that because I came up with that idea.
Yeah, yeah. I try not to be that, I don't wanna be like that braggy internet person, but, like, dang, that's
Oh,
pretty cool though that I did this.
that's okay. I'm gonna brag for you. Don't worry. I'm gonna be
Okay,
like,
thank
I know the
you.
person who made this. So that's very,
Thank
very
you.
cool. Well, Ashley, thanks for giving me half an hour of your time. This is everything I needed. It was also cool to just like catch up with you and finally meet you in person. But this was
Fun.
awesome. I'm so excited to throw this together and I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much, I appreciate you.
Awesome. Okay,
Uh,
have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.